Hello and welcome to Stop, Drop, and Roll, a game where a bunch of us nerds get together and play Dungeons and Dragons from all over the world. And by nerds, I mean really cool people. We are going to start off with Eeks. Eeks, would you care to tell everybody who you are, who you're playing, and a little bit about your character?
Hey guys, I'm Justin. I'm playing Eeks, and I'll go in and apologize because I'm fighting a cold and I am losing horribly. Next up is Lika.
Hey, I'm Lika. I play a Moon Elf Wizard, and next up is...
What's your real name?
Oh yeah, my name is Stephanie. Sorry, I'm tired.
And Eeks is Justin. I don't remember if he said that or not. All right, who's next on the table there?
Rin.
I'm Brittany. I play Rin Leaflet, who is a Ranger Wood Elf. And then we have Stoll.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I play Stoll, Lone Runner, the Goliath Paladin. I like to smash stuff. And last but not least, we got my man Flo.
Hello, everybody. I'm last again. I'm Scott. I play Flanardius, half-elf bard of the people.
You never last with me, Scott, ever. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Good. And we'd like to also give some props to Michael, who usually plays Calisan, but he's having some technical issues tonight, so he won't be joining us, or he may try and get in on Discord later, hopefully. But all right, so let's kick it off here. Last game, you guys had pretty much investigated the town a little bit, learned a few things about some people in history, gained some magic weapons, which I think are going to help you guys hopefully in any battles that you have to come. And you saw a town that was kind of trying to recover, not really rallying, but trying to recover from the devastation of the Tallyman and his visit, and the hurricane that was brought by the Druids that you guys helped defeat. At the end of last week's session, a group of goblins that you had encountered early on before we started recording had come into town with a group of children that they had rescued from the followers of Kellumbor. They said that they had been trying to sneak them out of the area and go to the city of Orin when they were intercepted by the Darklings that you had encountered. After a very vicious battle, they had to retreat. They having nowhere else to go. They came to Philian seeking shelter and refuge and brought the children with them. The townspeople then took the children in, taking them to the orphanage, and you're not really sure where else the children have been dispersed to. The goblins then collapsed in the tavern that you're staying in, kind of just falling asleep on the floor. Some of the guards came to investigate, where you had an interesting conversation with Captain Piltrop, rather, learning a little bit about him and finding out why he's done some of the things he's done. And then you all returned to your rooms to get a good night's sleep. We'll pick up the following morning, and each of you wake up. Is anybody wanting to go downstairs? Or are you hanging out in your rooms? What are you doing at this point?
I'll head downstairs.
All right. What about you, Ren?
I'm going to lay in a bit more.
You're just gonna snooze for a little bit.
Yeah.
So you just roll over and kind of snuggle into the blanket a little bit and drift back off to sleep. You can hear some roosters crowing and off in the distance, and birds are chirping. It sounds like it's a nice day outside, actually.
What time is it?
It's early. You're probably talking about 7 o'clock in the morning. You guys had a rough night and you slept in a little late. You do hear noise. Those of you who are upstairs do hear noise coming from downstairs as the tavern seems to have filled with some people. Keeping in mind that during the day, it kind of functions as a restaurant in the area. Is anybody else heading downstairs with Stoll?
Flanardius will.
All right. And what about you, Lika?
I want to go head over to the Stormus's, Boris's mom. I'm going to go talk to Boris's mom.
You want to go talk to Boris's mom? All right. So, and Eeks, are you staying upstairs, or are you coming downstairs with the rest of the party?
I'm gonna go with Lika.
All right. So as you guys come downstairs, kind of working together, you meet in the hallway. You start walking toward the stairs. You come down. You see that there are two guards in the standing in the restaurant over by the door. They're trying to look casual, but they're keeping a close eye on the goblins. The goblins have all woke up, and they're gathered around the table that you guys usually pick at the far end of the tavern, kind of keeping to the shadows and keeping to themselves. They have been served some food, and they are being taken care of. But the other patrons in the tavern, though they're trying to look normal, are keeping a kind of an eye on them. As you guys know, goblins aren't really accepted by most human settlements. And so word has spread that they've helped these children. So the people aren't openly belligerent toward them or anything, but they're still keeping an eye on them. They don't trust them completely. Those of you who are staying in the tavern, what are you guys doing?
Food.
Are you going to join the goblins, or are you going to find a table to yourselves?
Well, what do you think, Flo? Do you wanna go sit down with them, or you want to grab some food solo?
I say we go sit down next to the goblins so we can disarm the others.
That sounds good.
All right, so you guys walk over to the table, and when you approach, the goblins kind of look at you for a moment, and then their leader, Ironfoot, he's like, yes, welcome, come, sit. Join us. At least somebody in this damn town wants to be around us. You'd think we stink or something. Huh? How did you sleep?
Decent.
Good.
How'd you guys sleep?
Well, all things considered, sleeping on the floor isn't so bad. Could have been worse. We could have been 6 feet under, you know. There's plenty of food here. And he starts pushing some of the eggs and bacon over towards you guys. The woman said we could have as much as you want. She said it was on you guys. So thank you. We appreciate it. Yeah, at that point, you look over at the
thanks,
bar.
Stoll.
Yeah, you look over at the bar and you see Bella, and she just kind of nods at you as she's cleaning a glass. She's got a smile on her face, and she turns and walks into the back, coming out a little bit later with a plate of food to take to another table.
It's very generous of you, Stoll.
Hush.
That's what I do.
Eeks and Lika, you guys are you go out the door, ignoring the groups of people around you, and I take it you're just beelining it to Boris's mother's house.
Yeah, I'm just heading straight there.
And as you're there, you see Boris and his sons walking toward you. They're actually on their way to the tavern, and he sees you, and he kind of waves and jogs across the street to where you're at. Oh, good to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I was actually on the way to visit your mother if she's home.
She is home. She's not feeling well. I'm sure she would enjoy the company. Please, just, you know where she lives. Just go knock on the door.
Okay.
And as you guys walk away, you see Victor. He kind of looks at you, Lika, and he gives you a smile, and you see his cheeks turn red, and he just keeps walking. His brother Anton kind of nudges him in the ribs as they walk away. And you see them whisper and laughing, and Victor looks back over his shoulder at you. You travel on to the home. The morning is starting to kick off, as most mornings have here recently. People are starting to work on their homes, trying to repair roofs and the like. You approach the home. You knock. I assume you knock on the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear her voice inside, and she's like, "Who is it?"
It is Lika.
Ah, Lika, yes, come in. And you open the door and you go inside. The room is very dark. All the curtains are drawn. The shadows are deep around the room. You see her laying kind of on a couch with a quilt pulled up over her. She's like, "Please come in, sit down. It is so good to see you. What can I do for you?"
Well, we just thought we'd stop by. I was just wanting to see if there's maybe anything else that I can learn from you.
And she says, who's that behind you?
This is my friend Eeks.
And Eeks, do you step around from behind Lika?
Yeah, I'll step up and wave.
Oh, one of the goblin folk. Come closer. Come closer. Let me
I
see.
step closer.
She slides up on the couch a little bit, and you are peculiar for a goblin. You stand differently. More man than goblin, I think. Welcome to my home. I am Anastasia. And she extends a frail hand out to you.
I'll take her hand and kiss the top of it.
She smiles and Lika, when you see her smile and you look at her, you see her eyes look a little like she's got some dark bags under them, and her cheeks look a little drawn. She looks very weak, very very pale, and her skin seems to be a little tighter than you remember it being. So, what can I help you with?
Well, I was just wondering if there's anything else that you can help me learn about this town, or you seem to have wandered a lot. Didn't know if there's anything you learned along your way, and helpful.
Well, you know pretty much what is happening in this town, all that I know. But I can tell you something about the Tallyman. It was he who killed my friends and Drakon. We had been sent by the Templars to investigate a mysterious rash of suicides in a small village just north of here. Ebonmere, I believe, was the name. And it was to be Drakon and I's last mission for the church. We had Boris by then, and we wanted to retire and raise our son in peace. But we left Boris with Drakon's sister and journeyed to Ebonmere, where 6 people had committed suicide, or so we thought. We investigated, and we discovered that they were driven mad by a voice in their heads. We spent a week there trying to track down why this was happening. Then we discovered that the town had been trafficking Forlorn Bane. This is poison. It kills quickly, but reduces decay in the body. It can be spread with spores through the air and is often confused for sicknesses. I heard it was used in the necromantic wars, but that was long before my time. And she kind of gives you a knowing look, Lika, and she says, we discovered that the 6 people who had committed suicide were trying to stop the shipments, fearing whoever the Bane was being shipped to, and that their purposes were evil. We were about to confront the mayor when he showed up, the Tallyman. We attacked him, of course. Our party was strong. But he has a way about him. His commands are nearly impossible to resist. He spoke and caused us to turn on each other. And she looks away for a moment, coughing, and she kind of gathers herself. You see a tear in her eye. And she looks at you and she says, I never spoke of this to Boris, and I beg you not to either. But when we encountered him, Drakon and I, we fought. Didn't understand my need, my drive. Kill him. He was a skilled mage, but I had been trained by my mother. She was one of the mightiest defenders of Greyhawk. Anowin Fainfell. I struck him down just as he delivered a blow upon me. I fell to the ground, but I had enough wits to me to fake death. The Tallyman scoured our bodies, and when he was satisfied that we were dead and left, I made my escape. I returned to my home, gathered my son. And she reaches up and she touches the side of her head and says, "That's when I cut my ears. I knew I had to hide from this monster. And now he is here." She just kind of closes her eyes for a moment and looks down. "I don't know how he does what he does, but he is so powerful. The only thing that I saw him shriek from was when I attacked him with light. It seemed to wound him somehow.
Like just straight light or lightning or what kind of light?
Light. I cast light as high as I could, as strong as I could. It took everything I had to try and resist him for that moment. And then he spoke and said, 'Not me, him,' and pointed at Dracon. All I could think of was killing him at that moment. This man that I loved, this man that I made a child with. And all I wanted was his blood. I, too, am a monster." And she starts to cry.
You are not a monster. You cannot control what the Taliban made you do.
Thank you. And I want to take solace in your words, but you don't know the hatred that he made me feel. It was so real. He looked at Coulson, not the Coulson here, his great-grandfather. He's elven-born. You know that, right?
I did not know that.
He was a member of my party. A great man. He just looked at him and said, "Die." And he did. Just like that. How can one do that? Just tell a man to die. I have never told Coulson this. I don't even think he knows his heritage. But I look out for the poor. He is a good young man. Great heart. Loves us. Everyone in this town. I haven't seen him lately. Have you?
I have not.
And she begins to cough again. Just if you do, ask him to stop by. He looks so much like his grandfather.
We did. Scott said we just saw Coulson yesterday. Oops. I'm just gonna look at her then and be like, one more thing before we go. I want to ask your opinion on something. And I'm going to dig in my satchel and pull out my one special book and hand it over to her. And ask her, just, do you understand anything else in this book? Do you think any of this might help us learn how to get rid of the Tallyman?
She takes the book and she says, "May I hold on to this? I am tired."
Could I come back for it this afternoon? I don't like it being out of my possession for long.
And she gives you a weak smile and she says, "Yes, I will do my best." And
Thank you.
she kind of sighs deeply. What are you doing while all this is going on, Eeks?
Yeah, just looking around, listening.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Hold on, let me get my character sheet up.
It's a nice room. You see a lot of old, a mixture of items in the room. Some look human, some look, like the artwork that you've seen in human settlements, and some look very elven. It's an interesting mixture of things. You've not traveled too far into the mountains or up the other coast, so some of the items you don't really recognize, but you've seen on travelers. You've seen things that are similar to those on travelers from the other coast, along the side of Brillwine and Borg. It's been a while since you guys have looked at the map. I'll have to dig it out and put it up for you guys next game, so you get a clear idea of where you're at. But it's a beautiful room. It's a very dark room right now. She's kept all of the curtains closed, and she's just kind of drawn into the shadow of the back of the room, trying to. It looks like she's trying to rest. She's very tired. She looks over at you, Eeks, and she goes, "It has been a long time since I've seen one of you up close. You're more regal than I remember. It is a pleasure to meet you, friend Goblin." "Now forgive an old woman, but I'm asleep."
I'm gonna rise and just be like, thank you again for looking at that, and please just whatever you see in there, do not speak it out loud and do not tell anybody about it.
Of course. I will keep your secrets.
Thank you.
And so you guys rise and you walk out the door. You head out into the street, and it's a nice, brisk, sunny day. There's a cool breeze. Again, we're getting into the fall months, so the wind is starting to get a little bit of a chill to it. The leaves are starting to turn. You see people working, and construction is going well. You do recognize a few of the kids running around that they were part of who the goblins brought in. Sorry, I was reading something. They're kind of mixing in with some of the kids from the orphanage. And you see Eeks. You notice a man in robes of Pelor working his way over to the tavern that you guys have come from. He goes up the steps and disappears inside. Ren, you've been in bed now for about an extra 30 minutes or so. Are you going to sleep all day?
No, I'm gonna get up.
So you get up and you come downstairs. You see Stoll and Flanardius having a very loud and joyful reunion with the goblins. Stoll isn't quite sure who they are. He never really encountered them before last night, but Flanardius seems to be recalling, talking about some things that happened in the warren that they had found them in as they were going in to kill everyone. So you guys kind of picked this up from the story he's telling. Basically, they were going in to kill these goblins because they were told they were abducting children, and then they found out that they were actually saving the children from the followers of Kellenborg that you guys slaughtered in like your first time here, and Ren. So what are you guys doing?
I'm really into these pancakes. They're really crunchy. I don't know what's going on. Fuck, they're not good.
So
I'm
Stoll's
gonna-
eating.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna peek around and see how the other people in the tavern are reacting.
They're a little more at ease now that they've seen you guys there. They know you're strong. They know that you'll protect them, and even the guards seem a little bit relieved to see you guys with them, and they're thinking that okay, this is a little more under control now. If they get out of hand, at least we have backup. Now, but as you're sitting there, you see a man come into the tavern, and he's wearing long robes of Pelor. He looks around for a moment, and he walks over to the table, and he looks at the he looks at the goblins and you guys. He says, good morning. I wanted to stop in and check on you. I have some of the children that you rescued at the church. The orphanage is a little strained for resources right now, and well, I have plenty of help with the ladies who are living there now. I know now's not a good time for you to try and leave, and I see you have many wounded who need tending to. I can make room at the sanctuary if you would like. You're all welcome there. And he motions at you guys too. And at that, Bella says across the way, he goes, yeah, and we have a little thing about the tab for your guys' rooms and the food and things that you've been drinking here lately. When you get a moment, can you come see me about that? And he kind of looks at her and he waves her and says, don't you worry, Bella. I've got you covered. I'll be there in a moment. So, are you staying here? Do you want to come with us? And the goblins, they kind of look at each other and they realize there's really not a lot of room in the tavern. Ironfoot looks up at the preacher and says, well, if you got room for us, I'll be glad to come. We can make plenty of room, pallets, beds, whatever you need. I just want you to know that Pelor thanks you for your service and for the protection of the children. With that, they kind of agree that they're going to go stay there when you're done with breakfast. And he looks at you guys and he goes, so how many are there in your party right now?
All we're
Looking
doing
at-
math. Hold on. 1, 2, carry the 4. 5.
5.
Wait.
That's all.
Well, we have one that's still in bed, and so make that 6.
Ah, the mage. Yes, I saw him around town. So some of the women in my church, if you know what I mean. Anyway, if you want to come and stay, we will make room for you, of course. If you choose to stay here, I can offer to pay for a week's stay here at this. And he looks around the place from where he's beautiful establishment. If you would like.
If we get more blankets, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, can we invest in some blankets? Because my party member keeps giving them away. I just got
It's
enough.
not my fault. I'm trying to be nice.
Oh, hello.
You're
miss. How are
sleeping!
you? I didn't see you there. No, she came downstairs. And
I was yelling at her, like directly at her. Like,
he's like, I, of course, the invitation is for you as well, young lady.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Anytime. So, are you coming to the church? Do you want to stay here?
I think we'll have to discuss that with the rest of our party.
yeah.
Of course, you think it over and let me know. I'm going to settle your debts for now with Bella. And he turns and he walks away. You see him go over, and she just kind of sneers and shakes her head like, you sucker. I can't believe you're going to do this. And he kind of comes up to the bar. You see him pull out his gold purse, and he begins counting money out to her. They discuss some things. She pushes a little bit back. He pushes it toward her as if I insist. And then he closes it up, puts it away, and the goblins begin to leave their mess. Like there's food everywhere. They don't eat with forks. They're eating with their hands. It was a pretty disgusting sight to see. And they've kind of left everything where it is, jumping over the table and over their chairs and kind of pushing their way past people.
Can I shout out before they all
very
leave and
rudely.
be like, "Hey, Don't leave this shit here. And then can I roll intimidation to try and make them clean after themselves?
Yeah, let's go ahead and give it an intimidation.
Ah, shit. That didn't work.
And Ironhide just looks at you and he kind of sneers, and he just turns and they walk out the door. One of them, a young goblin, comes back, and he walks a little more upright than the others. And he's like, "You gotta forgive my friends. They're animals, if you ask me. But here." He starts like piling up some of the plates and gathering them together. And he goes, if you see your friend, the goblin, tell him to come see me, please. I'm Fritz, and I'd like to talk to him. I think he and I could have some things in common.
Where can we find you?
Well, apparently we'll be at the church, wherever that is. I hope you guys know. I'm going to take these over there. You don't have to be so mean to them. They are trying to help you guys out. He starts walking away with the plates. He begins to topple for a moment, and he kind of scurries to the side and straightens them up, and he gets them over, puts them up on the thing. And as he's walking out, he sees two ladies sitting at one of the tables, and they're kind of looking at him with disgust, and he gives them a big bow and smiles and walks out the door, kind of skipping a little bit as he goes. So what are you guys doing now?
Didn't we have to do that thing for Boris?
Yeah.
So I guess we should find everyone else and maybe go do that.
Well, I don't know where Lika and Eeks ran off to. You guys have an idea?
I have no clue.
Great.
No. Hey,
Well-
Still, are you gonna finish your pancakes?
No.
Hey. My grab.
They're really crunchy. I don't know what's wrong with them. They're delicious, but God, it's
This
weird.
is really weird.
I was eating Doritos, so I really I couldn't make those sound like pancakes.
Very, very crunchy pancakes. As you bite into them, they almost have like a type of corn chip
Ew.
texture to them. You're not even
They're
like
actually
it's got a
Doritos.
fluffy outside, but the center seems to be burned a little bit. And as you bite into it, it's a little crunchy.
They're burned
and,
from inside out. That's
you kind of take your first bite, and you hear someone yell from the kitchen, "I hope you like them. I worked hard on those." And you look over and you see this old man. He's kind of toothless. He's got summer teeth,
I'm just spitting the food out right away.
He smiles around the door, and he kind of gives you a wink and ducks back in really quickly.
And I'm just letting all that food in my mouth just like drop on the other pancakes, and I just like pass it back to Stoll.
Thanks. Great. I'm
Yeah.
glad you liked them.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys have finished breakfast. What else are you doing?
Oh, Eeks. He's dead. I get his wallet.
See that?
Goblin down.
He sent you a whisper, I think.
Uh-oh. Okay. He's not feeling well. He had to bolt. So we're good. All right, so you guys are what?
Let's try to find Lika
Yeah,
and Eeks.
Let's just go to Boris's, I guess, and see if they've heard from them.
Yeah.
All right, so Lika, you and Eeks, where are you heading to?
We're heading back to the tavern.
All right, so you guys run into each other in the middle of the street. Lika seems a little lost in thought, and Eeks isn't paying a whole hell of a lot of attention to what's going on around him. He's just looking at his wristband, and he too seems to be a little lost in thought. But you guys bump into each other, though.
Hey,
and
guys.
you say,
Wow. What a coincidence.
What's up, my lady?
Where are you all off to?
To find you, actually.
We were just heading back to the tavern.
Remember that thing Boris asked us to do in the morning? I think we
I
should
do.
come up with a plan or some sort of idea on what we're going to be doing.
I agree. We don't need to go running in without a plan again. I kind of look over at Eeks this time.
And he kind of looks up to you and goes, well, don't look at me. I'm not the planner. I like to shoot first, ask questions later, and that doesn't seem to work out too well for us.
Do we know where to find Boris?
You guys actually saw Boris in the tavern having dinner or having breakfast with his sons, getting ready to start the day.
Well, let's go back to the tavern.
Yeah. Let's go.
God damn it!
So you guys walk back to the tavern, having decided to meet up with Boris. You walk in, you see him at breakfast with his sons, and he looks up. He goes, did you go see my mother?
I did. She was laying down for a rest.
Don't know what is wrong with the woman. She seemed to be fine last night. Woke up this morning, she looked like death warmed over. I'm worried about her. Never seen her like this.
Sometimes the past can play with your brain and cause you to fall ill.
Yes. So, have you given any thoughts to our discussion yesterday?
We have, but we would like some more information.
What would you like to know?
Everything.
What's in it for us?
What do you know about numbers?
You have seen the forces of the Taliban. At least 200 strong. And from what we understand, they surround the town. They don't let any of us out. They let strangers in, and they let them leave, as long as they don't think we've told them anything. They use the cranium rats to monitor what is happening.
I want to look around really quick and make sure that there's no rats in the tavern.
Make a perception check.
Nope.
You don't see anything.
Hey, I'd like to look too.
I'll let her make instead of everybody making a roll. I'll let her roll with advantage since you're helping. So give me another roll, Liko.
No.
I mean, you looked the room over pretty good. You don't see anything at this time. You even checked the rafters out a little bit. And he kind of leans in and he goes, when they're together, they have a hive mind. They can even cast spells, from what I understand.
And you said the rats were the work of the drow?
No. The rats come from the Underdark, yes. But from what I have been told by my mother, she's had quite an interesting past. She told me once that they were made by creatures who sometimes work with the drow. Creatures who can peer into your mind, see your thoughts, tentacle-faced. I have never seen such creatures. But
Are
they seem to breed these rats.
Are they friends of the drow?
Well, you would have to ask my mother, but I was not given that impression. More like inconvenient allies at times.
Do you know if there's any places the rats will go?
No place that I have ever seen. I don't see them often. They hide very well. But you always know they're there. You can hear them scratching in the night sometimes.
I tried punching holes in the wall to see if you could find them. It does work. So.
And what
Just-
good
just
would
for
that
next-
do us? We know they're there. They would not help us to find one or two. The swarm is huge. You saw them. Piltrop and I are going later to meet with the magistrate. From what I have heard, he is not doing well. We are hoping possibly enlist his aid in the revolution.
Can we come?
Of course.
I'm going to
Well-
sheepishly look at everybody else while I, after I volunteered them.
Yeah, I'm gonna nod.
Cool. Awesome. Let's do it.
Meet me at my shop. 10 o'clock. We will go then. And try to lay low. Don't draw attention to yourselves more than you have to.
One last question, Boris.
Yes.
What time is it right now?
It is about 8:15, 8:30 maybe. Why? You have somewhere else to be.
No, we have an hour and a half before we meet you. That's all.
Yes. Of course, time here flows differently, depending upon how the narration goes.
God damn it, Boris! Why do you know so much?
He broke the fourth wall.
Boris knows things that we're not supposed to know.
He's Deadpool.
Exactly.
Boris is too meta. I don't like it.
Deadpool can do it, so can I, damn it.
Boris is like, we're in this. I had to break a fourth wall.
I do have one other question before you go, Boris.
Yes.
Have you guys seen the Drow wandering around? Do you know about how many there are? We know that they're in the cave area, but do they come and go from this area, or do they just stay in the cave?
He looks around the room, making sure nobody's listening. He goes, I have seen them once, and only once. They came at night. Apparently, they do not like the daylight. They were dealing with Brahm. He handed them a group of children, and they took them. Children were scared, but the drow that I saw with them, one was gentle. She was an older woman, very ancient. And she made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I heard Brahm refer to her as the matron. And though she was nice, I could tell. It was like watching a spider look at a fly when she looked at those children. I wanted to help them. But I'm no fool. And I'm no warrior. So I returned home.
Why do they need little children?
I do not know. The only thing that I do know is that that is what they require for payment.
What's the age cutoff? Do you know?
Well, the magistrate's daughter was 15. And he looks at the table. His eyes kind of drop. I do not know. We here in town avoid the Kellamvites as much as we can.
Is your town able to come and go freely with the farming community, or do the Darklings and the rats forbid you from doing that?
We can go there, yes, but who would want to? They're evil people. And he spits on the floor. I hope they die.
Ignore that.
I am. I hope each of you has taken time to attune yourselves to your gifts.
We have. Thank you very much for them again.
I should probably, play around with mine a little more. I don't really know what it does. Shield, activate, and I like take it up, put it on my arm, and like toss it up in the air.
And the shield springs to life, and it kind of hovers around you, guarding your back. You've got the table in front of you, so it's kind of guarding your back. It moves to the side, kind of assessing any threats until it finally just realizes there are none, and it settles to just floating behind you. Yes. Items like this are very hard to come by. And I hope that I have given them to the proper people. And as for payment, friend Stoll, we are poor people. I am hoping to call upon your good natures. And he looks at each one of you. But if it is payment that you need, I will discuss that with the magistrate.
That might be a good idea.
Hey, I just tried to whisper you, GM, but is it possible to make a cash withdrawal from the group chest? We have some funds, and I haven't taken any yet.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to. Who's actually holding your treasure? Have you guys decided on who your treasurer is?
I thought we'd split that gold back in the cave when it was just the three of us.
Yeah, and it just never got put into my account, so I didn't, or my character sheet, so I didn't know if I was to manually do that or.
Yeah, you have to manually do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, never mind.
Okay. He just kind of looks at each of you, and he raises his eyebrows. He goes, "Is there anything else, or can me and my children finish our breakfast?"
Yes, sorry, I think that's all.
Yeah, try the pancakes. They're really good.
Don't try the pancakes; they're garbage.
I am not fool enough to eat the pancakes from the slaughtered hog. Not quite sure what he puts in those.
Something crunchy, man. I don't even know if it's legal. I'm a little worried for my own self. I might cast Cure Wounds on myself just to be sure.
Now I think you're being over dramatic, Stoll.
Friend Stoll, you make me laugh. I almost thought you were serious about wanting payment. I forgot what kind of a jokester you are. Enjoy your day. I will see you at 10 o'clock. And with that, he turns to his sons and he's like, "Victor, remember, we must get up on the roof to the orphanage. We need to patch that hole on the side." Son's like, "Yes, father, I know. He looks up at you, Lika, and you see, Bryn, you notice that Anton hasn't taken his eyes off of you the whole time. He's the younger of the boys, and he's got blonde hair. Good-looking kid, but he's not smiling. He keeps staring in your direction. Just take note of that. What are the rest of you doing?
So, what do you guys want to do while we wait an hour and a half?
We have an hour and a half. I'm going back to bed.
I think we need to figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah, still you can't sleep yet.
Ugh.
Right,
Okay.
let's go to a table and make a plan.
I'll be listening, but I'm also going to be working on tuning this stupid shield because I really don't know what it's going to do, and I need to be able to rely on it.
All
So
right,
I'm
you can
going to do that. So it's attuned. Do your tunage or whatever.
We should, I think we should get a table and start sharing notes.
Table for 5, please.
Agreed.
So you guys walk over to the table,
Sick.
and you sit down. You see Tessa start to head your way. She realizes who you are. She turns, walks over to Mildred, motions at your table, and she walks onto another table. Mildred walks over and she's like, so where's your friend at? You know, the pretty boy. The one what broke my friend's heart last night.
Oh,
I
you
haven't
mean
seen him.
Callison. I don't know. Did he get up with you guys?
No, he stayed in bed while I got up.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Bastard. You tell him I'm looking for him. And when I see him, that little thing on his chin, I'm going to rip it right off and shove it up his arse.
I could do you one better. I know the room he's in.
Oh, really? Which one is it?
Wait. Let's
Oh,
make this
okay.
extortion. 20 gold.
Oh,
What?
no.
She's going to tell him anyways. We might as well make some gold.
She bends down. She bends down next to you, Flonardius, and she looks in your. She gets like right in your face, and you smell. She's had a little bit to drink this morning already, and she's like, "So, pointy ears, you gonna tell me, or aren't you?"
What?
I'm gonna wink and plant a quick one on her lips.
Ah!
Wow.
Slick.
She
Yeah.
wipes her lips for a moment. She looks at you and she kind of gives you a smile. She's like, "I like you."
Maybe we could talk later. We've got some business to discuss here, so I'll find you later.
Yeah, me
Be
too.
sure you do.
I'll tell you.
I liked the way you played the bagpipes the other night. And personally, I think you were better than old Melancholy any day. So,
Thank you, my lady.
little bastard smacks me on my ass every time he comes in here. Last time, I punched him right in the eye. You can still see some of the swelling if you look real close. Anyway, can I get you anything to drink before I leave?
Water.
Water? Water?
I don't drink anymore.
Huh,
What?
look at you. All high and mighty on us, are you? I respect that, though. What about you, ladies?
Oh, I'm good. No, thank you.
I'll take one
Scott.
of your mango juices again.
Flub, she
Mango
was
juice.
talking to you.
And what can I get for this handsome devil? I like that red hair. And she starts playing with the bow a little bit.
The curtains match the drapes, or the carpet matches the drapes.
The curtains match the green.
And she
Yes.
kind of,
Maybe I should have some water.
yes. I think maybe you better. And so she goes, in which room? She leans over to you, Stoll. Which room is it? You know what? Never mind. I know all the rooms up there. I'll just find the one he's in. I'll be right back with your waters and your mango juice. And she
Yes.
walks away.
I smack her real quick before she can get away on the spot where she was talking about.
She jumps for a moment and she looks back and she makes a fist at you, but she's got a smile on her face. And you see her walk off. She starts talking to Tessa for a moment. Tessa's like, shaking her head and pointing her finger at her and shaking her head, and she's nodding up and down. And she goes into the back. She comes back out really quickly with some water and some mango juice, sets it on the table. She throws the tray onto the bar stool or onto the bar, and you see her start traveling up the stairs with Tessa following closely on her heels. Bella says, "Oh, no. One of you two ladies needs to be down here all the time." And Tessa turns around. She looks up at Mildred, and she just comes back down the stairs. very slowly, and Mildred smiles at her and turns around and runs down the hallway. A short time later, you hear someone screaming upstairs, and you hear the sound of punches as Calisan is being accosted in the bedroom. She comes back down a little bit later, and she's got a tuft of hair in her hand. She goes, "I didn't get the one off his chin, but I sure did pull a lot out of the back of his head." She goes walking into the back. Quite proud of herself.
Oh my god.
Can I still get that 20 gold, please?
Poor Calisan.
She doesn't hear you.
Okay.
I feel like
Can
we
someone
should
cast
avoid-
like an amnesia spell on me?
Why?
Well, I just tried to save Calisan, but it didn't work, so I kissed her for nothing.
All I had to do
thought
is
you
summon a
liked it.
giant gecko. I'm sorry. You want a giant gecko?
I'll take a gargle, please.
All
I
right,
don't
so what
know.
are you guys doing? You're sitting at the table. You're getting ready to make a plan. Let's hear it.
So I think we should be sneaky. We're going into a tunnel, right?
We can use the tunnel to get out of town, yes. But last time we tried, all those rats were in it.
Okay. What was he saying about us going to meet, like, the Drow person?
That's outside the farming community in the cave we all met in. So we could at least get there without being stopped. We would just have to stay hidden from those in the farming community if we wanted to get to the caves, but what are we even going to say to the Drow?
Well, wonder if we disguise ourselves as travelers. They say they let them pass if they think we don't know anything. Or we can just sneak.
Yeah. Well, if they didn't see us come in, my fear would be that they would recognize, if they watch the roads as much as they say they do, that they would know that they hadn't seen us come into the town, but then suddenly some strangers are leaving.
Maybe
It's kind of
Boris
hard to
has,
hide
like
something.
a way to get us out. I don't know.
But even
I was gonna say, I think the important part is to make sure we conceal our faces. I don't know what we're gonna do about Stoll's height, but
True.
they might know. They might know it's us because of how big he is.
He is a very large man.
That is if we get spotted. Yeah.
I'm not as worried about getting out of town as to what are we going to do after that. Because if we go down there and they don't want to hear what we have to say, we're going to be fighting however many drow down there, and that just does not sound like a smart idea.
How about we basically stick to defensive moves and make sure there's like a bunch of distance between us for now, and then if they want to attack, we run away.
I think I'm getting the hang of this shield, and with my new spells, I'm pretty sure I can pave the way for us.
It depends how many there is there.
And at that point, if they figure out it was us down there that started commotion with the drow, that could bring more turmoil to this town.
Yeah, then we're gonna get another mark.
I'm only at 2 or 1, so
Yeah,
I
same.
think Lika and
Yeeks.
actually, I can't remember. Did the Tallyman whisper
The
numbers? or
Tallyman
did he-
spoke. Well, no. Every time the Tallyman was speaking blame, saying things like "This is your fault," "You brought this on yourselves," that sort of thing. When he would say that to the crowd, he emphasized it by speaking directly into your minds. But when he came up and spoke to you about your marks, he simply rode up on the horse, looked at each one of you, and then just called your name out, looked at the book, and said 1 mark, 1 mark, 4 marks, 1 mark, 4 mark, for each one of you.
Everyone has one
Then
mark.
he just kind of dipped his head with a thank you and turned and rode off. But he spoke those out loud, so each one of you know that you have different marks in the book. You know who got 1, who got 4. You just don't know why. You're completely oblivious on what this mark system is even about.
I've only done one thing wrong, so maybe I'm just a great person. Who knows?
Yeah, you're just a saint among men.
Sips of water. I mean,
This big giant monster of a saint. He should have been a cleric. That's all I can say.
oh shucks, I really should have been.
Okay, so everyone feels it's unsafe to leave, or what's the general?
I think
I-
we can get out to the caves, and I think we can get to them. It's just what happens from there is what I'm concerned with.
I think we should try talking first, and then if that doesn't work, then I guess.
I think Rin's onto something. I don't think.
Okay.
I think if that guy really wanted to kill us right then and there, he would have. So
Yeah.
whatever he wants, I think we should try and communicate with him on it and compromise at the very least before we try and just bash his skull in. You heard it from many people that this guy's not someone that we want to toy with.
Mhm.
So we either play his game or we play ours, but we can't play both.
Well, the Talon Man's not going to be back for 2 more weeks, and the Drow might not even like him.
Maybe we can turn the drow against him. Depends on what they want.
That might work unless they just keep wanting children sacrifices.
Well,
There's
they're only
one way to
orphans.
find out. What?
They're only orphans.
Lika gives a like a
Wow.
glaring look at Flo.
I was just kidding. Well, I maybe we come up with a contingency plan. If something looks like it's going to go bad, we use a secret word or something.
Like a safe
Bananas.
word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll work. Because the last thing we need is for this town to be slaughtered because we screwed up with the Drow on top of everything else.
What's a safe word?
Pineapple juice.
Please say Jenga.
I was thinking run away.
That's pretty obvious. I was thinking like pineapple juice or like tax benefits. I don't know, man.
I was thinking, just like an ordinary like fruit that's yellow, like a banana. What we should do though is leave a note for Calisan. He seems like he doesn't want to
He's
get out
having
of
a
bed.
bit of a rough time.
and
I think we need to
at
wait
this,
for
you guys,
the dragon with this.
those of you who are looking at the staircase, you see Callison kind of standing at the top of the stairs, and he's rubbing the back of his head. He kind of glares at you guys, and he just turns around and walks back to his room. As he does, you see his hair's kind of messed up in the back. You don't necessarily see a bald spot, but you can see where someone had like grabbed onto the back of his hair. She didn't have enough hair in her hands to really be super noticeable on him, but she had a sufficient amount. You know he's in a lot of pain right now. He just kind of you hear his door slam, and and that's pretty much it.
I'm going to pull out my copper wire out of my gauntlets and use message and send a message to Callison just to say, wimp.
You hear him throw something. Oh, go blow it out your blowhole, Lika! And he throws it up against the wall.
I'm going to send another message that says, you need to come to the magistrate with us.
You hear a lot of stomping upstairs, and Calisan comes down the stairs. He's kind of putting himself together as he comes down, tucking his shirt in, and he just comes and sits at the table, kind of pouty.
Well, so when do you guys want to do this?
Let's say
I
it's
don't
getting to
know.
be about 9:30ish now.
I think we
Well,
can-
not now, but
why not?
we'll brew on it. Because we
You
gotta
guys-
go meet with Boris.
Oh, yeah. All right, Boris first. Let's.
And
Go.
I think if we're dealing with drow, first thing in the morning might be better since they are adverse to daylight.
Does anyone have any like light spells or?
Yeah, you know, just divine smite. It's no big deal.
Any?
Just my personality.
Oh,
Charming, good looks, shiny
Oh.
smile.
Have dancing lights.
Stoll's got that shiny bald head.
Ha! You're so funny. Shiny. Mall. Anyways, let's go get him. Let's go get some Boris going on here.
Yeah.
And with that, I walk out. Yeah.
So
Going
you
to
guys walk.
Boris.
You guys walk out in the street. You see Piltrup just going into Boris's shop, and as you approach his, you see Victor come out of the home next door. He goes into the shop, and as you enter, he's like, "No, she's looking really bad, Father. We need to get her over to Bobby or something. Something is going on with her. I'm telling you, she needs some help." And he looks at me and goes, okay. After we speak to the magistrate, I will take her there. Just keep an eye on her. And he looks at me and goes, Father, I don't want to go back in that house. It feels like death in there. Go take care of your grandmother. I have important things to do. I will be back soon. And he sees you guys walk in, or he knows you at the door. He goes, friend Stoll, are you ready?
So, what's the full plan here? Can we just go over that really quick? Just real quick.
We are going to go meet with the magistrate and see if we can recruit him to help us stand. With his power and with yours, we can defeat this Tally beast. I know this. He is very strong. You've seen him fight. You saw how easily he defeated the druids, almost single-handedly. Surely, he will be able to help us. And with
The
your
Tallyman
might,
took him
and
on
with your
with the same
weapons,
ease.
this
I'm
is
all
true.
game.
And I agree with you. But the Tallyman came when we weren't prepared. Next time, we will be ready. We have 150 good, strong soldiers. Well, we have about 75 soldiers. The rest are villagers. But we are good, and we can fight.
There are a bunch of druids in the woods that might be able to help you if you guys can come to some agreement also.
Those druids are sheep.
I don't know if they're all sheep. Actually, I think some of them are like bears and shit.
Yeah, I can attest.
You think this is joke? This is not joke. This is my people. This is my town. These are my children. Do you think I want them to take Anton or Victor?
If you're that desperate, then you might be willing to work with some druids, huh?
Roll persuasion.
Can I assist him in this?
Yeah, with advantage.
Oh, thank God.
If you can bring the druids to the table, we will be willing to talk.
I'll see what I can do.
I'll be glad to help with that as well.
Right on. There we go.
Me too.
Goddamn dream team going on here, boys.
What?
Ha! You're very naive. But maybe that is good.
Well, Mr.
Let us go
Narrator,
see.
I have a 7 wisdom, so
You're confusing me. What does 7?
No.
He has an IQ of 7.
Aha.
He's not the brightest.
You speak in strange. You speak in strange terms. Come, let us go see the magistrate.
I'm gonna say, do you care if I sit with your mother while she's resting, since your grandson looks like he could need some help?
Of course. Please, it would be appreciated. So you guys are going to go. Who's going to the magistrate?
I will.
Lenardius.
All right. Stoll,
Yeah.
Eeks will go, and Calasan. You guys head out and start heading up the street. Lika, you walk next door. You knock on the door, and you hear the voice inside, the older woman going, yes, who is it?
It's Lika.
Ah, Lika, my angel, come in.
I go in.
You open the door, and the room seems extremely dark. You can see her, and you can see like the center of the room, but along the edges, it seems very dark. And there's a slight bit more chill to the air. Anastasia looks almost withered. She looks very weak. She lifts her hand, and you can see it's very difficult for her to lift it. Come, my child, sit next to me.
I sit next to her.
And when you do, she kind of sits up and she leans over on you, and you're really shocked at how light she feels, and her skin feels cold. She just leans against you and she goes, They are coming for me. He knows I am here.
He doesn't know that yet for sure.
She looks up at you and she's got tears in her eyes. She goes, he knows.
It will be okay.
She gives you a smile. You need to leave, Lika. Give me a perception check. When she says that to you, you see shadows moving in the two back corners of the room. Suddenly, forms come out of the shadows. They're humanoid. The first form grabs Anastasia and pulls her into it, kind of enveloping her and wrapping around her. And she yells, "Leave!" And as she does, you see the light just drain from her eyes as her skin begins to just fold in upon itself. And she withers in this creature's grasp. The other creature darts across the room, getting between you and the door. And I need you to roll initiative.
Crap!
Oh my god.
So, hold on.
Yeah, that sucks.
Hang on. Let me get you in the I gotta find your character sheet.
Have I noticed my book at all in the room?
You don't at this time. You're focusing
Okay.
on these two shadow forms that have gathered in the room. Where the hell is this encounter? Oh, I'll put it up here. And I'm going to re-roll your initiative here. Hopefully you'll do better.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, you do. So you're at the
Yay.
top of the initiative. You see the first shadow is between you and the door. The second one is holding the shriveling body of Anastasia as she just withers into just a husk in its hands and drops to the floor. And both shadow forms are now like spreading their arms and coming in your direction. So you see the shadows start moving toward the center of the room. What are you doing?
Can I tell if they look just like if there's any substance to them or no?
Hold on. I'll kind of give you an idea, hopefully, of what they look. That's what they are. They're just this shadowy form.
Okay, I'm going to cast. Crap. Can I tell if they're an aberration, a celestial, elemental, fae, fiend, or undead?
Hold on. Let me pull it up again real quick.
Those guys look scary.
We're going to call them an aberration.
Okay. Then I'm going to reach into one of my satchels and I'm going to pull out some of the powdered iron and silver that I got from Boris, and I'm going to cast protection from evil and good on me.
Okay.
And then that's all I can do right now, I guess.
Let me see what protection from evil and good does here.
Yeah.
In this instance.
Okay.
Spells, protection. I want to see how it will benefit you.
Creatures of these types have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target. The target also can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. Yeah.
Hang on, let me read it here. Let me make sure that they're aberrations. I want to say they are, but I need to be sure before I can.
Yeah, if they're not, I was going to cast Dancing Lights.
They are medium undead. So, yes, they fall into this category.
Yes. Okay.
So, they roll at disadvantage. All right, so you cast this on yourself. You immediately go into the incantation, and you look kind of back and forth in the room. The first one makes its way towards you, moving very fast, and it's going to make a strike at you with disadvantage. So let's see if this works. But it still hits. And so it reaches out and it just runs a hand across you. You feel it like burn into your skin, and as the hand passes through you, where it touched you, the skin begins to kind of decay. You also now have, let's see, I gotta really make sure on this. One creature, the target strength score is reduced by 1d4.
Wow.
So yeah, you take a 1d4. So we're gonna take 1d4. So you need to reduce your strength score 2 points. As you suddenly just grow weaker. And you feel it immediately. It then kind of moves to your left to set itself up for another attack. As the second creature, the one that was holding the body, moves in behind you, comes up to your right, and takes a swipe at you as well.
Can we hear this or no?
I'm going to get to that. Give me just a moment.
Sorry.
You are reading my mind, but it also attacks at disadvantage. And this one you see just at the last moment, so you duck under. There is now an opening for you to get to the door.
I want to make a quick look around to see if I see my book really quick.
Give me a perception check.
No, I don't.
You don't see it. In all the hurry and with the shadows swirling around the room, you do not see your book.
I'm going to cast Dancing Lights really quick and see
Okay.
if that doesn't scare them. It's just to light up the room.
Right. Let me look at this real quick. So you cast Dancing Lights, and I assume you send all 4 of them up.
Oh, yeah.
The room lights up, and at first the creatures kind of shriek back. Then they realize what it is, and you see them begin to move forward again. Is that it for your turn?
Can I do a bonus action to kind of look around the room to see if I can see maybe my book on the table? Because I really
You've already looked around the room, and I've given you a perception check.
Yeah.
You threw the lights up, so I'm gonna have to say no.
Okay.
You've already done it.
I didn't know if I could kind of look on the bed really quick and ruffle the blankets or something. See if
You're not in a bedroom. You're in a living room, and the doorway to the bedroom is blocked by one of the creatures.
Oh, okay. I don't want my book to fall in their hands.
A lot of personal stuff in there.
Okay, so does that end your turn?
I can't do it. I have no bonus action, so.
All right. So the first creature moves in on you again, and it's going to attack with disadvantage, of course. How long does that spell last? 10 minutes? A minute?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
All right. And it misses. As you're able to duck under that one, the second one behind you moves in for its move. And it's going to also attack with disadvantage. Got to keep remembering that. And it too misses you. As you're doing this dance with them, they move, you dodge out of the way. It's back to your turn.
Would I know if they would be scared of fire or just light?
Give me an Arcana check. These creatures are completely unknown to you.
Okay. I'm going to try and shoot magic missiles at them really quick. At level 2.
At level 2?
Yeah.
Okay. At which one?
I'm going to shoot one at both of them. Which
Right.
I can shoot, 4 of them, right? At level 4.
Yes.
3. 2. Sorry. So I'm going to shoot 2 at each one.
Okay, so you're going to shoot each one.
Yeah.
All right, and what's the DC on that?
I don't think there is one.
There isn't one. They just get damage.
Okay. You better do that, Scott. All right. So what's the damage on it? Go ahead and roll it once you target them.
Okay.
Have you targeted both?
I thought I had. Yeah,
now
I
you
am
have,
both
yes.
targeted.
So go ahead and roll.
Okay. Oh, I did that wrong. I'm sorry. I thought I was rolling one. I was rolling an individual dice because I'm supposed to roll 4 dice.
Okay. I'm going to reset them and let you roll
Okay.
again. Hold
Okay.
on. Give me just a second. Okay, go ahead. So you let loose magic missile, and the missiles divide up, hitting each one of the shadows. And as it does, you hear them shriek as they begin to pull back, and they look not as they look thinner. They like you can start to see through them now as they scream and kind of back away from you for a moment. Then they both kind of look at each other and start to swoop back in on you. You still have some movement. What do you want to try and do?
I'm going to back up some.
Okay,
But
you're currently facing the door, so you're going to back deeper into the room.
I'm move towards the door, but try and keep them in my field of vision.
All right, so you start backing toward the doors. They begin to like converge on either side of you, and moving towards you. The first one's going to go ahead and take his attack. But you're able to easily dodge out of the way of that one. As the second one, he sweeps one arm out at you. You duck under it. The second one comes at you with both arms over its head, trying to drop down on you. And that one does hit, unfortunately. And you take 9 points of damage, and you have to reduce your strength another 4.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
As the creature brings both hands down on you and they kind of pass through you, you see a little bit of, as you see the hands pass through you and pull down and away from you, you see part of your life energy just get sucked right out. And your body kind of withers a little more. You look at your arms and they're not as big as they used to be. They're kind of shriveling up, and you're starting to realize what has been happening to Anastasia. And we're back around to you. Oh, and yeah. The two of them are now closing in on either side of you, flanking you.
I'm going to cast Magic Missile at level 3.
Okay. The missiles just fly into each one of the creatures in a desperate move as you like throw them out of both hands. You hear the creature scream just as they dissipate into nothingness. The room brightens up.
Yay.
At this point, those of you who are outside have heard this ruckus. You were a little ways away. Are you going to run back that way, or are you going to continue on to the magistrate's house?
I'm going to run back.
You hear beating on the door, Lika, behind you. As let's see, each one of you roll a d6.
Oh, no.
I just want to see who gets there first.
Nice.
Hold on. All right. Yep. Flenardius, you're pounding on the door. You get to the doorway first, and you're pounding on it. And as you approach the door, you hear this as the two creatures just fade out of sight.
I'm going to beat on the door again. Say, let me in. What's going on in there?
Boris is now pushing his way past you and opening the door.
Boris sounded kind of flimsy.
He looks at the room. He sees you, Lika, standing there. He sees furniture has been overturned and stuff, but he can't see his mother yet. She's on the other side of the couch. He comes charging in. Mother! Mother! As he runs into the middle of the room. What are you doing, Lika?
I actually go over to where his mother's at, and I start to pray over her.
He runs up behind you, and he's like, what happened? Mother! And he pushes you out of the way, and he grabs his mother up into his arms. He goes, what happened here? He looks at you, Lika, with just this anger in his eyes. Who did this? Was it you?
It was the Talaman servants.
Roll persuasion. He for a moment he looks murderous on his face, and then he just begins to weep, and he falls. He just like pulls her body close, and he collapses over top of her, and he's just sobbing. He cries for a few moments. Does anyone want to interrupt him, or are you guys just going to give him a moment?
I'll pat him on the back and step out.
Same.
His sons come in to the room, and they begin to try and comfort him and see what is, they see what's going on. You hear a lot of crying, and eventually he composes himself, and he stands up and carries her body over to the couch, and he lays it down. And he looks around the room, comes back, and says, what servants? Where are the bodies?
They were shadows. That's why your house was so dark and looking like death.
I knew it, Father. I told you there was something wrong. We should have gotten her out. I told you. Yes, Anton, you did. You're right. Stay with her. Clean her up. We are going to go speak to the magistrate. It is time for the Tallyman to die. And at this, Piltrip walks up and goes, now, Boris, hold on. We don't want to cause any problems here. We need you to think clearly if we're going to go talk to... And he pushes him out of the way. He's like, enough talk! It's time for action! And he starts walking out of the house, just storming out and going in the direction of the magistrate's house. Stone, come!
How about a please? And I follow him.
You kind of jog along and catch up with him. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to ask Lika, like, what exactly happened here?
She said they were coming for her, and then they did.
Can I, are Lika's, like, wounds visible?
She visibly looks thin. Her face is sunken in a little bit. Yeah, she's definitely, you can see, you don't see any visible wounds. You see that she looks older. She looks weaker.
Like, are you hurt, or did they?
She looks like a frail woman.
She looks a little anorexic.
No, they did try and take me out. It was not my time yet.
We should follow Boris.
Yeah, I'm gonna run up and try to catch up with Stoll and Boris.
I'm going to talk to one of the sons really quick, and I'm just going to say, look, I asked your mother to look at a book for me. It is very, very, very important that I find this and find it back.
Which one do you speak to?
The one that's always looking at me. I can't remember which one that is.
The older one, Victor.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, he kind of smiles for a moment. He looks at his grandmother. He looks back at you. He goes, "I do not see a book, but I will look for it, and if I find it, I will bring it right to you. And maybe later we could have dinner. Maybe."
If you can find this book for me, I will pay you 20 gold if you can, or go to dinner, whatever. It's just very important that I find this book.
I will look.
Thank you. She may have hidden it because I warned her that it can't fall into the wrong hands.
My grandmother is very, very good at hiding. But if it is in this house, I promise I will find it. And we will have dinner.
Thank you very, very much. And then I glance around the room, just kind of in desperation, looking to see if I see it again, and I'll follow the others.
I'm going to dinner with her, Anton. I'm going to dinner.
Can't wait to find my book.
He instantly pulls the book out.
So you guys travel on. You walk down the street a little bit, and you get to the magistrate's house. You see the same number of guards that were there the night before, and you see the armored figure standing out front. You do see some of the townspeople working on the house. They pretty much got the hole patched in the roof out front. Some people are planting where the burned marks are in the yard. And you see a couple of women leaving the house and two more arriving, and they've got baskets of food. You see a few of his children are sitting on the porch out front. And as you approach, the guards on your side move together and start coming in your direction. They recognize Captain Piltrop, and they, of course, move out of the way. He approaches the armored form and says, "We need to speak to the magistrate." And it stands there for a moment, looks at him, and it looks at all of you. And then it steps to the side, turns, and allows you to pass. Piltrop goes up and gently knocks on the door, and a little halfling man comes and opens the door. He's dressed in a coat with long tails, very much like a butler. And he's like, "Yes, what can I do for you today?" Piltrop says, "We're here to see the magistrate. The magistrate is not taking any visitors. Please allow him this time of morning." And Boris just pushes past him. He goes, "I've had enough of this. I am going to speak to him now." And he pushes his way in. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to try and persuade the guy to just let me follow. I'm going to be like, so, that guy's already going through. It seems like your whole system's kind of meant to. I'm just going to follow him and make sure he's good.
He sees your size. He sees your size, and he just kind of steps out of the way. Piltrop kind of pulls him to the side.
Good fella.
You hear him talking and saying, "Look, we will. I'll take the brunt of this. You're not going to get in trouble." That sort of thing. And Boris is storming through the house, going, "Bronheim, come out! We need to talk." After a few moments of this, you see one of the doors upstairs. You hear one open, and you see the magistrate come walking down the stairs. He looks very haggard. His hair is what little horseshoe he has around the sides is not combed. There's some stubble on his face, and he just looks sad, heartbroken as he comes down the stairs, and he's like, "How dare you come into my home at this time, demanding to see me? Who the hell do you think you are?" "I am here on official business. We have to do something about this tally, man. I'm not even going to hear this right now. Do you see what he did to me? Do you see what happened?" Does anybody else want to move in at this point?
I'm going to urge the magistrate to listen to what Boris has to say.
How are you going to do that?
I'm going to tell him to quit yammering for a second and listen.
With that, you're going to need to roll persuasion at disadvantage.
Oh, sure. Okay.
You're going to use the word yammering. He turns and he looks at you, and there's just such anger in his eyes. And he says, "Who the hell are you coming into my home? It's your reason you're the reason she's dead." And he jumps down off of the last step and starts working his way over to you with his finger like accusingly pointed out in front of him.
You're not the only one that loses people here.
Boris steps forward. He goes, "They just killed my mother." And he turns and looks at him. You see for a moment the anger in his face dissipates. "Anastasia's dead. When did this happen?" "Just moments ago at our home. She was there." And he points at you, Lika. He turns around and goes, "Of course she was. Should have known that. What happened?"
Shadow creatures came in and sucked the life right out of her.
And with that, he kind of walks over across the living room, and there's this big armchair, and he just slumps down into it. He goes, "I've brought death down upon us all. I see her, I see my wife. Every night, she walks the halls, accusing me. And she's right. My fault. I want to end it, but I have to go on. For the children." And he looks around the room, and you see a little boy come over, probably about 5 years old. And the magistrate picks him up and sets him on his lap and just holds him tight. And another of the children walks up. He's a young man, about 18 years old, gnome size. He walks up, kind of standing behind you, Flenardius, and he goes, "He's right. I've seen her too. She haunts us. She hates us for letting her die."
We think we could beat the Taliban.
Beat the Taliban. He's been alive for thousands of years. What makes you think you can defeat him?
Not me. It's all of us and you.
What do you mean, and me?
And the druids.
What are you guys planning?
That's what we're here to discuss with you.
He looks at his children and he says, "Go outside, now, every one of you, and play in the yard, not near the windows. Come with me." He gets up out of the chair and he walks back to his den. The rest of you follow. He sits down behind his desk. "All right. Explain to me exactly what's going through your heads."
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
"And who exactly do you think's going to be our friends?"
Our enemy's enemy? Question mark?
Rin's just gonna look so confused.
"Our enemy's enemy is everything that lives."
That's a lot.
Exactly.
What? He looks right at you, Lika. "What did you say?"
I said exactly. So why not try and ask some of those other enemies if they want to help?
Who? The drow?
They might.
Have you
We're considering a diplomatic mission to go see what they want and see what their situation is.
Who wants to roll a persuasion check with advantage?
I will.
Oh.
Uh,
Okay, Stoll. Let's hear it.
Well, we as you can see from what happened, one person is not going to be enough for this guy. And as you said yourself, every living thing is the enemy of the Tallyman. And by that math and Leeka's assertion, everyone's our friend. So really, we just got to convince anyone that we possibly can to bash the guy's skull in, and boom, he's dead. It's over. Fuck the marks. Yeah.
He looks at each one of you, considering for a moment. You've got Anastasia's staff, Leeka.
I nod.
He looks at Calisan. Dracon's wand and his boots. I'm thinking she had something to do with this, didn't she? That's why they killed her.
She told me she fought them a long, long time ago.
Aye, she did. She was a great warrior. He looks at Boris. He goes, there are many things your mother didn't want you to know about her past. And many things that she and I have discussed over the last week. One of them happens to be you. And he looks at you, Leeka. If you are who she thinks you are, then perhaps we can do this. But to do this, we will need the help of the drow. And maybe the druids. We have to figure out a way to reestablish supply. But we need to find out what the drow need. What they're doing with the children. Perhaps we can offer them something else. And in turn, gain their aid.
What does this town have to offer? We're already entertaining the idea of visiting the drow and talking. What can we use as a bargaining chip?
Do they like gold?
I don't think they're going to be interested in that.
The matron, from what I understand, is from the 5th most powerful home. My guess is she's making a play to move her house higher. Just my guess. I'm really not well versed in what the drow do, but I do know that it is a matriarchal society and that every house tries to rise in rank. Whatever's going on, I'm sure that's what this matron mother is trying to do. We need to find out what it is they want. But to do that, you've got to go there. Into that hellhole. Underdark.
Do you have any advice for us for this travel?
Trust nothing, trust no one. Especially the drow. They're vicious. They don't hold to the same morals that we hold. Assassination is a routine way of moving up in ranks. But we must find out what they're needing. When do you plan to go?
I think as soon as possible. I think that's what we agreed upon.
Agreed.
Yes.
I'll make sure that you have passage out. He looks at Piltrup. From this point on, they work directly with us. We will be here, planning our next move. I'll put together what forces we have. But I'm not willing to fight the Tallyman without their help. The Drow are powerful.
We will try our best.
See that you do. Now go. I've got to take care of my children. And with that, he just dismisses you with his hand.
Thank you for hearing us out.
Let's hope
You
for the
there.
best.
He looks at you, Lika. A moment of your time.
I nod and wait.
And at this point, I need the rest of you to leave the room. Sorry. Okay. So, are you her?
What would it matter if I was or not?
Because if you are, you know more about all of this than that bumbling packet of fools that you're traveling with. What's your end game?
To see the world restored to the way it was.
And what of your relationship with Kellavor?
What is happening is not right and it needs to be stopped.
Keltor's a madman. And he's very persuasive. I think he has the ear of Kellavor in a way that no one else has.
I fully agree. Oh, I would very much like to see him stopped.
If we don't stop him, there's not going to be anyone left. I gotta tell you what happened in Orin. He raised an army of the dead. He killed almost everyone in the city. If it weren't for the Defensores Vitae and the Church of Pelor and the Lady Secret Thornton, he would have succeeded. They had a weapon. It's called the Orb of Pelor. They used it to destroy him. Or they thought, anyway. I've heard what he can do. I haven't seen it firsthand. But the messages I've received from the king are frightening. His reach, his army, almost made it to the kingdom, to Ishtar itself.
It's worse than I thought.
There was a staff, the Staff of Sorrows. He had opened a way for Kelemvor to come. At the end, the Defensores Vitae were able to stop him, and Secret Thornton was taking the orb and the staff back to Ishtar. They were intercepted, and they lost both weapons to Kelemvor's army. Without those, we have no chance of stopping them.
There might be another way, but unfortunately, I've lost my book.
He kind of cocks his head to the side for a moment. What book is this?
I had let Anastasia look for it to see if she could translate more than I had been able to translate. It's a book I found written in Celestial. From what I can gather, it looks like a way to stop even the gods.
To stop a god. Can you imagine?
That's why it's very important I find that book again. Although I've looked at it so much, I probably remember almost all of it and have most of it rewritten in my journals, but to have it whole and complete. So there could be another way.
You know by traveling with you. Those idiots are Defensores Vitae now.
It's a long time ago, a whole other life.
But nothing changes.
Everything changes.
You are in service to the king. You swore an oath. And I expect you to uphold that oath and protect this town.
I will do what I can.
He sits back. That's all we can ask of anyone, isn't it? She was a good woman. I loved her so.
She did really seem like it. She did say light seemed to affect the talisman. She knew a spell that was able to stop him. Do you
Did
by
she
chance
tell
know
you?
the spell?
If I did, I would have used it. Or maybe I wouldn't have. It gets into your mind. It's so hard to resist that voice.
There does have to be a way, though.
I will study. I will see what I can learn. He gets up from his desk and he walks around to you and he takes your hand for a moment. If she trusted you, then I trust you.
I nod and say thank you.
Go, find your friends.
Allie, you can go find everybody.
Okay, I'm texting her. I'm typing them now.
Yeah.
Boy, they jumped.
Like they were waiting.
So you guys are
Yeah.
standing. You guys are outside of the room, and you see Lika come out. She's she kind of just looking at the ground as she comes out.
What do you say?
We have a job to do.
That's ambiguous.
Let's go find some drow and
Okay.
hope we roll high enough persuasion.
That's incredibly fourth wall there, Lika. What you talking? What the heck are we rolling?
It's just a phrase I heard somewhere in my travels.
Metagammer. That was weird. I totally blacked out. Anyways, yeah.
So you guys start walking out of the house. Are you going straight out of town? Are you going to go prepare some things?
I want to
anybody
take a long rest before we go. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little washed out.
All right. So, Lika, so you're heading back to the tavern.
Yeah.
All right. What are the rest of you doing?
I'll do the same.
Boris is standing there first of all, and he looks at you guys, and he's like, okay, so we have a plan. You're going to recruit the drow. We will gather our forces here, begin preparations to trap him. I will make sure you have supplies. I've never been to the Underdark, but I am sure it is a dangerous place. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to rest.
So,
I'm gonna pull Boris aside really quick, and I'm gonna ask him about the enchantment that he got for my shield. And it'll go something along the lines of who do you have enchant this shield?
my mother.
Oh,
She was a great mage. And she
She
told
was.
me, all you have to do is tell the shield, defend. And it will. It will guard you so that you are able to use both hands for your maw. And he kind of reaches around behind you and grabs the handle of the maw. You're good, no?
It's pretty badass. Right on, then.
I am glad you like it. It was the last thing my mother enchanted. I hope it protects you. I must go. I have preparations to make. And you see a tear in his eye as he turns and walks away.
Okay, time to go to bed.
All right. So it's now about noon,
Bedtime.
just so everybody's aware. All right. So who's going where? You're going to bed, Stoll?
Yeah, I'm a nap for a little bit.
All right. Lika, you're going to bed?
Yeah, I'm going to take a long rest, which I think is only needed. I think I only need 4 hours for a long
You do.
rest.
You do. What about you, Bren? Brandon Flanardius, what are you doing?
Who's speaking?
I am.
Oh, okay. Oh wow. Well, did we have a rendezvous time?
I don't know, do you?
Yeah.
Everybody's
yeah.
starting to disperse at this moment.
I'm gonna yell out. What time we meeting back here?
Whenever I wake up. Yeah.
How long will that be?
I don't know. Yeah. Just come wake me up. It's pretty easy.
You want to meet back here in 5 hours?
Sure.
I mean that it starts. We agreed to travel in the morning though, right? Or at night. I forget. I'm sorry.
I just at some point during the day. I thought maybe morning-ish, but if we can go before nightfall, I think that would be better. Even though I'm not there, I'm meta saying this.
No, you're still there. You guys haven't completely separated yet. You were just starting to walk apart.
So you guys want to meet back up at in 4 hours? Should be plenty of daylight left to start.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't like that.
Do you have a suggestion, Stoll?
No, nothing. I just saw the shadow that I didn't like.
What shadow?
Nothing. Yeah. I'm gonna go to bed now.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Fucking dice roll across the screen. D20. I'm like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
All right,
Could
so
you-
Stoll and Leaky, you guys are walking back to the tavern. Eeks is walking along beside you, and he decides to. He just looks at you guys and goes, "I'm gonna go this way. I need to be alone for a little while." He disappears into one of the alleys. As you continue on, you see Victor come running up to you, Lika, and he's like, I cannot find the book yet. I am searching for it, but I have to stop for a little while. I have to help my father with grandmother.
That's understandable.
I will look for it, though. I will find it. I promise. I won't let you down.
I hope so. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Are you okay? Would you like to talk?
No, I'm well. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to go help father.
Away.
He turns and walks away from you.
I'm gonna call out Victor's name and see if he needs any help.
Sure, come. We are. Could you take this money? And he gives you 20 gold pieces and go find the man that builds the coffins. Tell him father wants the best for her. The rosewood one, please.
Okay. I don't want to dishonor, his last wish, and I was going to offer to pay for it, but under the circumstances, I'll let him do this one last thing for his family. I'll take it.
Okay. So do you head off to the shop?
I asked Victor, which way to the coffin shop?
It is toward the front of town, by the gates, next to the Gilded Pony.
Okay, I will head that direction.
All right, so you start heading up that way. Ren, what are you doing?
Lenardius, do you mind if I come with you? I don't think you should be alone. Especially
Yeah.
what happened to Lika?
You look like you have a strong back, so yes.
I do have a strong back.
Specifically, a strong back.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
All right, so you guys travel on up to the front of the town. You see the Gilded Pony. You see the bartender. He's putting the last touches on the sign as he's trying to get his establishment up and running. And so you see this pony that's reared up in this beautiful gold paint job that's over the top of it. He sees you as you're walking by, and he climbs off his ladder, comes running over. He goes, "So I heard you guys are staying at the Slaughtered Hog. We're fully repaired here. If you need some place to stay, you're more than welcome to come back. I'll even knock a little off the price if you're looking for a place to stay."
Oh, I appreciate that. I think we're good where we're at. Do you have any customers yet?
No one's come into town yet, but I'm sure they'll come. I'm not worried about it. For sure though, the rooms, okay, they might leak a little bit, but I'm getting that fixed. It'll be done like this week. I promise.
Maybe I'll consider it once you get the roof fixed, because I can't. My hair is too sensitive to dripping water.
Yeah, he could just, it'll make it go frizzy.
Fizz right up.
You're a peculiar fellow. Maybe one night you can come and perform.
I would love to.
That's what I'm talking about. And he punches you in the arm a little bit. It's a pretty solid punch. He's a large man.
I wince. Start rubbing my arm, but in a manly way.
Puts his hands on his hips. He kind of looks up and down the street. He goes, things have gone to shit around here, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
What I understand, you guys are going to do something about that, though.
Maybe. What have you heard?
I don't know. What are you planning?
Well, I can't really let you in on the details right now, but
It's a secret.
yeah.
Ah. Okay. Well, again, stop by anytime. The caravan's supposed to come through this week. I should have a fresh shipment of ale coming in on it. Half price for you guys. Heroes of Philion.
Thank you. That's very, very generous of you.
Yes. Well, I can be quite generous, you know. So, where are you guys off to now?
We're off to gather a coffin.
Mhm.
Coffin. Somebody else die? Who? And he leans in real close. Was it the magistrate? Did he finally kill himself?
No, this is what I sleep in.
Yeah. He finds it very comfortable.
Comedy routine. That's what you do. Okay. I understand it now. Yeah. Bards, I'll never get you. And he turns and walks away and goes back into his into the tavern. You continue on, and you finally find the coffin maker. The what would I call him? The Undertaker. And you walk in. The store is a pretty pink on the outside, and as you walk in, it's got yellow painted walls, a nice chandelier. You can see that the outside has some damage, and there's some water damage on one of the walls, but the coffin selection seems to be very nice. As you come in, there's this tall, thin man, long, straight gray hair. He sees you walk in, and he's like, "Oh, how may I help you today?"
We need a coffin.
I am sorry for your loss. Was it someone close to you?
Yep.
Well, I have this beautiful teak coffin, and he takes you over to one, and it's very beautiful. It's got some silver trim on it. It's kind of a gray stain. He's like, it's well put together, quite affordable.
Can I get in and see how comfy it is?
He kind of pulls back for a moment and cocks his head to the side.
I'm just gonna do it. I'm not like asking him. I'm just
Oh, yeah,
gonna
you can jump right in. So you open it up and you slide right in, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And it's comfortable. The back's a little hard. It's really not made for people to sleep in, so comfort really isn't the biggest point. It looks more comfortable than it really is. Like there's not a lot of substance to the fluff. You get in and you kind of feel the board against your back.
I'm going to say it. That looks good on your end, but
Oh, thanks.
what would you buy for your mother if she had passed?
Aren't we looking for a Pacific type one? A rose something.
The rosewood.
Yeah.
Come. And he leads you into the back. And you see this very beautiful coffin. And it's got like gold trim down the side. It's a beautiful red stained wood. And then in the front, there is a gold and silver emblem of Pelor. And he's like, now, this is my best. You must have cared very much for whoever this is for. Was it one of your friends?
It's for our friend Plenardius's mother, who recently passed.
Is this what you would buy for your mother?
I cannot afford such an extravagant coffin, but if I could, this is the one I would buy.
Well, money is no object. What does this one run?
This one runs 25 gold.
I'm going to speak out of character here for a second. What was the coffin type that?
This is the one.
This is the one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll cover the difference, and we'll say this is the one.
Where should I have it delivered?
Well, I'm staying at Boris's mom's house right now. How about there?
He looks at you for a moment. Give me a deception check.
Can I help him with this?
No, not this one.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm staying with her mother.
When would you like it delivered?
What's as soon as you can bring it by?
He looks at another young man that's in his shop, and he goes over. He talks with him for a moment. He comes back and he goes, "I can have it delivered to you within the hour."
That's perfect.
Was your mother a friend of Anastasia's?
You could say that.
I will have to stop by and make sure that she's okay.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. And he goes over to his table and he writes out a receipt and hands it back to you.
All right. I will take it, pay it, and I will give the heavy burly guy 1 gold tip on the spot.
He takes the tip and he's like, "Thank you, sir." He bites into it, makes sure it's real, and he slips it into a pocket. They set about taking it out of the store, and you hear them starting to load it into a cart and stuff in the back.
Well, that went pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too. Their coffins were quite comfy.
Yeah, it looked it. What do you want to do now?
We can either go see how Boris and his family's doing, or we can head back to the tavern and get some drinks.
Yeah, let's go meet the Boris's.
All right.
All right. So you guys are heading back to Boris's. Stoll, have you gone upstairs and gone to bed?
Yes.
All right. So you're sleeping.
Yes.
Liko, what are you doing?
I went upstairs and to go rest. I am exhausted mentally, physically.
All right. So, um, you can recover any health points you have, but for the immediate time, your strength levels have to stay where they are.
Okay.
You go upstairs, and do you sleep, or are you just going to meditate for a while?
I'm taking a full-on long rest.
All right. So you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Stoll, you're sleeping.
Yes.
Stoll, as you're sleeping, you begin to dream. You remember life as a child growing up in the mountains. And you remember a certain incident from your past. You know the one of which I speak. You begin to feel the rage and the anger from that incident. As the dream is very vivid and comes back to you, suddenly everything goes dark. And you hear a voice. Well, Stoll. Seems to me you and I know someone in common. I can lead you to him. Hell, I can even help you kill him. And I need everyone else to leave the room. Except for Patrick.
I can respond.
You can, yeah, because it's, as far as you're aware, it's a dream.
Show me.
And with that, you get a vision of a big city with flags of black and red. You see a great army, and you see a familiar Goliath. Someone that you've seen many times in your life. You recognize the way he walks. He's large, much larger than you remember. He thinks he's a big man. But together, we could kill him. You'd like that, wouldn't you, Stoll?
What do you get from this?
Well, I just get the benefit of helping a friend. We are friends, aren't we, Stoll?
Now, what do you fucking get?
He's in my way.
What do you want?
I want to be your friend.
I don't like liars.
Stoll, you cut me to the quick, son. I know what he did. I know what he did to your mama. I was there. He's a bastard. And he deserves to die. Come with me. Maybe you can even see your mother again.
How can I contact you?
Just think of me. I'll know.
Give me the name of the city, and I'll consider it.
Another day.
Then no. Can I roll persuasion?
Nope.
God damn it.
You're making a mistake, Stoll. You don't want to do that.
We'll stay intact.
Stoll. One more. And with that, the dream ends.
Can I tell them to return?
I'll tell him. Autobot return.
They assemble!
Lika, you sleep pretty soundly and with no dreams. At first you have a couple of bad dreams about the shadow forms that you had fought earlier, but eventually you're able to catch a good bit of rest. When you guys finally wake up, it's late into the night. It's now about 10 p.m. The rest of the party has spent the day helping Boris get his mother ready, and things have been kind of prepared for the funeral that they're planning on doing the next day. By now, word has spread throughout the town that Anastasia is dead, and the overall mood of Filian is one of fear, dismay. She was greatly loved and greatly respected, though most people didn't know who she really was. They just knew her as Boris's mother, a sweet old lady. They did know that she had a good relationship with the magistrate and that you could see the two of them walking and talking together from time to time, but most people just assumed it was just two old people, discussing things. No one really knew that she was advising him or what her true nature was. You come downstairs, Stoll and Lika, to see the rest of the group eating and just kind of hanging out there at the tavern at this late hour. Down in the tavern, you see Flenardius, you see Ren, you see Calisan. What are you guys doing?
Is Eeks anywhere around?
You do not see Eeks.
I'm gonna try and wander and find Eeks.
Okay, you head out into the streets. I need you to give me a perception check. You look all over the town. You don't see him at all.
I've been rolling so horrible tonight.
You're doing your best, and that's all that matters.
The dice hate me.
She has some sleep still left in her eye.
Back up about an hour. Eeks is traveling through the town. He sees Coulson and decides he's going to follow him. Coulson works his way through the streets and in through the back alleys, and Eeks follows him into a building, quite a ways back, and pretty stealthily. He sees Coulson disappear into a room, and he waits a moment and approaches the door quietly. He doesn't hear anything inside, so he takes the risk of sneaking in, when suddenly the door is bolted shut behind him. He turns to see two large men standing on either side of the door. Turning again, there are two other armed men in the room, and Coulson walks out, blade in hand. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oh, fuck.
Great.
Jesus Christ!
That's what happens when you don't play.